Every evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo De Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and in tonight's game plan, we'll talk about shooters and spikers in the PBA, NBA, and the UAAP Women's Volleyball.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Well, everything is now even in the PBA Governor's Cup Finals as the TNT Tropang Giga neutralized Barangay Ginebra. Joining us to break down what happened in that pivotal match is basketball analyst Coach Mark Molina. Coach Mark, you and I had a conversation off the air saying that I told you it would end in 5 games. That's what you said. That's what you told me. And of course, the way that it happened was TNT overcame incredible injury problems. RR Pogoy not in the lineup due to a fractured finger. And it looked doom and gloom before the game. But what did TNT do right against Barangay Ginebra?
It's all about shooting the basketball. That's the objective of the game, is to shoot the basketball. And TNT did it, a finals record, 21 3-point shots made. Of course, give a lot of credit as well to their import, Rondae Hollis Jefferson, because he started the tone. You need somebody who can score consistently and be creative for you. And then, they have so many shooters surrounding their import. And when it clicks, it's hard to beat TNT because they will shoot a big volume of 3-pointers. And if you make 48% of that, even though Barangay Ginebra made 50% of their 3-pointers, because of the volume, amount of shots that TNT takes from threes, it is very hard to beat them.
It's the modern game.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're talking about RHJ, of course, with 36 points on 61% shooting, and then the surrounding shooters. Parang binawian sila, Coach. Ano? Correct me if I'm wrong, in Game 3, that game was up for grabs until the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter, bumitaw ang Ginebra because of 3-point shooting.
And I covered that game.
Yes.
And I was thinking, even though TNT lost that game, I actually felt good for them if I was in TNT's position. Because Barangay Ginebra will not shoot that way again. 18 3-pointers.
Correct.
They almost did it
15,
also in
15.
Game 4. But that's more the style of TNT than Barangay Ginebra. And Ginebra was shooting at such a fantastic pace from threes in Game 3. But TNT was keeping step until about the last 6-7 minutes of that game. And then, of course, bumitaw na. But I thought that from a moral standpoint, it was not a bad loss for TNT at all. And that showed in Game 4, even without RR Pogoy. Because if you were TNT, you would still believe that you can beat Barangay Ginebra because you played them well in a game that Ginebra was fantastic.
Pero Coach, there are no moral victories. I'm sure they
there's
would have
none.
wanted
There's
Game
none.
3 to go their way. But on that note, actually, since RR Pogoy was not there, they did start a certain Kib Montalvo. Kib Montalvo had a great game. 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And a colleague of ours, actually, Coach Mark, during the halftime break, came up to me and said, why does Kib feel like he's playing for LaSalle again? And when you take a look at what he did and how he stepped up, how big is it for TNT that you have someone like Kib doing what he does?
It's tremendous. I mean, Kib used to be a starter. He wasn't playing a lot of minutes in this conference, but he stayed ready. He's very capable because he does 2 things well. He's a good outside shooter and he's a good defender.
Yeah.
And he was ready to step into that role of RR Pogoy, who also does those 2 things well: shoot and defend. And Pringle started Game 3 and was instrumental in that adjustment by Coach Tim Cone. In Game 4, Coach Jolas makes the adjustment, maybe by force because there was no RR Pogoy, but he could have started somebody else.
Yeah.
But he started Kib, he started Calvin Oftana, and I think those adjustments paid off because both of those guys made 4 3-pointers in that game.
Surrounding, of course, the talent of their import, RHJ, who receives the Best Import Award on the strength of 31 points, 12 rebounds, and almost 6 assists. Your thoughts on his conference and winning the award? No jinx there. He performed in game number 4, Coach Mark.
With all apologies to all the Ginebra and Justin Brownlee fans,
Yeah.
To me, it was a clear win for RHJ as best import for the conference.
Yeah.
You take in the stats, you take in all of the body of work that he did, and I think one aspect where he is significantly better than Justin Brown is on the defensive end. I think he makes a bigger impact on the defensive end because he is a more versatile defender. He is defending Christian Stan Hardinger a lot of times in this playoffs. And we all know Steve Stan is the best player of the conference and at least 3-4 inches taller than RHJ, but he is holding his own against a guy like Christian.
Well, talking about jinxes, there is a, well, they say it's a curse, I don't know, but the best player of the conference normally does not win the game wherein he wins the award. Christian Stan Hardinger was the best player of the conference, 22.9 points per game, 10.2 rebounds per game, and 6 assists this conference. A bit of a runaway winner here, but then you'd expect more from him for if you're Barangay Ginebra if they want to come away with the championship.
Absolutely. 10 points, you have off games, but 3 rebounds for Christian Stan Hardinger in Game 4 against a small TNT front line will not do it for you. I mean, I'm pretty sure Coach Tim Cohn and the rest of the coaching staff will take a look at that. Why did Chris Stan only had 3 rebounds in that game? How come he was not getting a lot of offensive rebounds? Is it fatigue? Because he's been playing a ton of minutes all the way from the previous conferences until now with Japet not healthy this this conference. So we'll see. But Stan, he needs to do more. There is no matchup in that TNT team against Christian Stan Hardinger. So that's why Coach Jolas, he is devising ways. Small ball, putting RHJ on C-Stan because there's no real one guy there on TNT. Maybe Poy Aram is the closest, but Poy does not play the same amount of minutes as Christian. So Christian really needs to establish himself in Game 5 for Ginebra to get back into the series.
His second BPC award. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to TNT. Game 5 should be very interesting. In the meantime, we've got more hoops talk with Coach Mark because after the break, we'll shift to the NBA playoffs as we look at big upsets in the opening week of the postseason. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. The playoffs have officially begun and huge upsets have taken over the NBA world, especially today. And still with us to talk about today's opening games is basketball analyst Coach Mark Molina. Let's begin with the East, Coach Mark, because most of the games were West today. But we did start with the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. There was this talk. Miami going through 2 play-in games were sharp. They had their rhythm. Milwaukee, especially Giannis, has not played in 2 weeks. Although, of course, he let go of. He exited the game because of a tailbone injury. But your general thoughts on that game number 1, which Miami needed to win,
Well,
obviously.
you're probably correct that Miami was the sharper team because they played all throughout the week. Milwaukee did not play for an entire week, and then they were resting their starters at the end of the
Middleton
regular
and- yes,
season.
you're right.
So that's a good point. But to me, it's all about Giannis playing 10 minutes in that game. He
Yeah.
hurt his lower back in the first quarter and then did not return. So this is a different Milwaukee team. Come playoff time, you need your superstars to play. And in Miami, their superstar played very well. We all know what Jimmy Butler did in the play-in.
Right.
Now we're playoffs, and so we're
the same
watching
thing today, yeah.
playoff Jimmy play. Although the bad news here for Miami is that Tyler Hero would be out for the season.
Of course, Tyler Hero out. Giannis Antetokounmpo had to leave the game as well as injuries, as you mentioned a while ago. But a lot of people are now looking at this Milwaukee team that if they lose Giannis for an extended period of time, does that leave the door open for you if you're the Miami Heat?
Oh yes, they took game 1 now. They still have their depth, even though Tyler Hero is not there. You still have Butler. Kevin Love played well
His
today.
best game.
His best game as a Heat,
Heat
and
player.
Adebayo, of course, was good on the offensive end
Second half.
compared in the play-in games. They're definitely capable. Although I think even with the hobbled Giannis, or even if he misses a couple more games, I think Milwaukee still has what it takes to beat the Heat as well.
They have a winning record without Giannis in the regular season. So, yes, I agree with that. Let's move on. Lakers upsetting Grizzlies. Again, these road teams, these lower seeds, winning today. Your thoughts on that game, especially with Ja Morant hurting his hand?
Upset ba yan?
This room is full of Lakers fans.
Yeah,
so
not here in this desk.
This
though.
world is... What are you talking about, this
country.
room?
So I guess a lot of people are happy.
Tama yung tanong
today.
mo, Paolo.
Oo.
Upset nga ba
Upset,
yun?
pero upset ba siya?
Not really. But of course, I would still favor Memphis a bit in this game. So in today's game, because of the home court advantage.
Right.
But series-wise, not an upset for sure. Especially with Ja Morant missing the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game. But what a wonderful performance from the Lakers. They did not need their big two to score that much
Right.
in today's game because of Rui Hachimura, because of Austin Reeves.
Right.
So that's really contribution from everyone, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
Because AD and LeBron, as good as they are, AD is fragile. LeBron is 38 years old.
fragile.
So this is not. They cannot carry this team
Every game.
every single
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So you watch, if you're a Lakers fan, you see Rui Hachimura doing things like this, and Austin Reeves developing into an all-around playmaker for you that can, and of course D'Lo as well, and the other veterans. This is a complete Lakers team.
Scary.
Scary team. Don't talk bad about the Lakers now, though, Coach, or else our direct will cut you off. But then the other LA team actually did a good job. The other LA team, the LA Clippers, outplayed the Suns 115-110. Again, Russell Westbrook, very clutch. It feels like when he sees KD on the opposite end of the floor, he ups it a gear.
I've always been a Westbrook fan. He gets a lot of criticism, and sometimes it's justified. But I've always been a Westbrook fan because he always
Effort.
plays hard.
Yes.
The effort is always there.
Right.
Sometimes too much.
much, right.
Sometimes he does too many things that turns out into a negative for his team. But Westbrook had a key defensive stop on Booker today. He also made the
the
free
end.
throws.
Yeah.
He had 2 crucial assist passes to Kawhi for threes.
Yes.
And also Westbrook was on point today. Maybe he didn't score much. Maybe he wasn't efficient. But he was a big factor why they won the game. The biggest factor is Kawhi. But Westbrook is there. But because we saw the MVP Kawhi play today. But with Westbrook playing that way, this could be a series that they can win.
And the only seeded team that won today and dominantly was Denver Nuggets. No surprises there, Coach?
No surprises there. I think Denver has too many weapons against the Timberwolves. The problem with Minnesota, maybe defensively they can do it, but not enough offensive options really for that team. It's only Anthony Edwards in the perimeter, and if he's not playing well, there's nothing much there. Conley is okay, but he's playmaker, so not a lot of scoring opportunities here for Minnesota. to be able to give this Denver team some problems.
Well, it's always going to be tough if you're in the 1-8 matchup. But of course, for all those at home, you can watch all the 2023 NBA playoff action together with other NBA exclusives only here on NBA TV Philippines. Catch the games here daily, live, and in HD. Games are also shown live from Fridays to Mondays on One Sports and TV5. The NBA playoffs where we are. #always a fan. After the break, we'll find out which teams are inching closer to the Final Four of the UAAP Season 85 Women's Volleyball Tournament. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching The Game. In the UAP, one team has already clinched a spot in the Final Four of the exciting women's volleyball tournament this season 85. Volleyball analyst Ish Polvorosa will do a wrap of the latest storylines happening in the league. Ish, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me here tonight.
You know, it's always a pleasure having you here. So, it's always inevitable that you come on. We love having you here. And talk about being inevitable. Itong Lasal, 13 straight Final Four appearances. We were talking a bit off the air that it feels that 13 seems a bit short, but my goodness, what a record anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they are a perennial contender for the championship. And knowing Coach Shermil, he always prepares for that day. The aim and the goal yearly for the De La Salle squad is to really make it to the finals. So they really have that celebrated history and tradition when it comes to the women's volleyball side.
When you talk, this is a great bounce back season.
Yes.
Bounce back na sa kanila to. You know, because
Finalists.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were finalists. You know, they were swept in the finals. What a way for them to come back.
Yeah, I mean, boy, what a season for them so
Right.
far. I mean, even though they lost that game against UST before the Holy Week break, lumaban pa rin sila eh. That was a bad game, pero we still saw them fight against UST and they took a set away from UST. And that was their first ever loss this season. And feeling ko kung may possibility man na madapa pa sila sa elimination, baka Adamson na lang yun.
Which is on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Now, it's going to be interesting because apart from, we're not just looking at the Final Four, we're looking at who ends up number 2.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a hard race between NU, UST, and Adamson going up for that number 2 spot.
Definitely, Pao. They're currently tied at 8-3, if I'm not mistaken. And Adamson's last game na medyo talagang may hirapan sila, I mentioned earlier already, De La Salle. And NU and UST haven't played each other in the second round. That's their last game.
On the 26th.
Yes.
Correct.
So I think, personally, no, that's my opinion. That's what's gonna determine who's gonna
Be number 2.
Yeah, bag the number 2 spot.
Because you're thinking LaSalle's going to defeat Adamson on
Yeah.
Wednesday, right? So that's the thinking there. It's been an interesting season, if I may. Adamson has beaten UST twice. NU was beaten by LaSalle twice. And then, UST has broken the streaks of LaSalle and NU.
Yeah.
That's why this Final Four is very interesting, and the next 2 weeks are going to be crucial. NU, what are your thoughts on that? We already know that UST is, gaining momentum. Just a quick thought on NU.
I still think that NU is the sleeping Goliath. I was here before the Holy Week break. Sabi ko, feeling ko gaganda yung peak ng NU towards the latter part of the second round and come Final Four. But it remains to be seen kasi kakalabanin pa nila UST eh. And I think lalabas yung tunay nilang laro come that game.
And that'll be very interesting. Seeing everyone peak at the right time. Grabe.
And UST, and those batch pala ng UST and NU players have been going at it since high school. So
It's gonna be spicy. I'm pretty sure.
A lot of familiarity there. Now, speaking about UST actually dimmed the Final Four hopes of Ateneo. I think mathematically baka pwede pa, but then it's always going to be difficult here for Ateneo. Tough season for them, and you have to feel that they're going to have to grow going into the next season as well. How do you see this Ateneo season so far?
It's been a very dismal season for the Ateneo Blue Eagles, no? Even though they have the potential, they still have Faith Nesperos and the system of Coach Oliver Almagro. Kitang-kita naman na the other teams, especially the ones leading in the Final Four race, sila talaga may kompletong lineup when it comes to the being the contenders for the championship. So, well, sabi nga nila, dark age of Ateneo, but I think this is just gonna be a dark year.
Right.
I've been hearing a lot of buzz
Uy!
na may mga paparating next year.
Really?
Yeah,
For
we'll
another
see.
show. For another
Yeah.
show.
Well,
For another
hopefully.
show. Sige.
This is how you get invited again.
Sige.
Oo.
And by the way, Ateneo has not missed the Final Four since season 71. So medyo mabigat yan.
Yeah.
So hopefully hindi naman age nga at year lang,
Year.
at sabi ni Ish. We have to end on an individual note. Amy Hernandez is the player of the week for UST, but Tetlet Pepito has been on fire on defense for UST.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, watching that game against Ateneo, she really was the defender of UST. I mean, lahat ng palo ng Ateneo, she was there. And she bagged the number 1 receiver and number 1 digger spot just this week.
Yeah.
This week.
Kasi nag-aagawan sila ni Hazareno
Correct.
either 1 and 2. But this time around, she stuck to that top dog position when it comes to the best libero race. And I'm pretty sure it's because of that last game against Ateneo.
And by the way, that Pepito, in all of her years that she played in high school, was the best libero for UST. So this is not a strange thing.
And she's a
for her.
rookie.
She is a rookie.
Yeah. Grabe yung mga rookie ngayon, no? Oh, ibang klase.
Galing.
Ish, thank you again. I really appreciate you. We're gonna have you back because
May hanging
Oo nga eh.
May hanging question eh.
so many
Thank you very
stories
much, Ish.
more to be said. Maraming salamat, Ish.
We'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.